What the heck are all these terms for charging an EV? If you're not in the EV world like me, it gets pretty confusing when you read articles that throw around all of these different terms around charging your battery electric vehicle. So today, I decided I was going to leave Command Central, go out into the wild, and educate myself about what all these terms mean and help you understand them. No. So first off, we've got to cover some things before we get out there. Electric vehicles have come a long way, as has their charging. And there are 3 levels of charging: level 1, level 2, and level 3. I'm going to show you an example of each one of them right now. So let's start with level 1. All right, so level 1 is this: a plug in your house, 120 volt. You could do it in your garage. You could run an extension cord outside. The fact is, it's this. It's slow. It takes hours to charge. Really only appropriate if you're parking your car in your garage and leaving it there for a day or 2 to recharge. It's an option, but it's not a good one. All right, level 2 is probably the most common. This is quite a bit faster. It's 240 volt, and really you've got 2 different options here. The first is having it installed at your house. Now, a lot of manufacturers will coordinate it or pay for it, like Chevy does with the Bolt EV. They'll install a level 2 charger at your house. This really needs an electrician to set it up, to get it for that 240 volt through your electric panel, but it allows you to charge at a much faster rate, typically within several hours. The other option would be to be out and about, and you can plug into a level 2 charger. You can see it right here. All right, so this is a level 2 charging station public. This is actually outside of a community college right here. This is actually free to use. Same level 2 that you'd see in your house at about 240 volt. Charges pretty slowly, but it's perfect for businesses or if you're in school and things like that. If you are going to be able to park and leave it for a while, let that charge kind of trickle in. So, like I said, that's a really good option for if you're parking somewhere for a long time, but you don't need fast charging. You're at work, you're at school, something like that. You can plug it in and just leave it and let it kind of trickle in a little bit. Now, level 3 is it's got several different names, but basically it's DC fast charging. Now, as you can see in this picture right here, these require big machines to actually push that power out to the charging stations. That one's actually from a Tesla supercharging station. So here's 2 examples of what you can see out in the wild. All right, so next up you've got public charging stations. This one is actually right here at my local BP, hidden over in the corner. I've never even really noticed it myself, but you can find these things scattered all around. Most manufacturers either have it on the car, on an app, or there's plenty of websites where you can go. This, for example, is EV Go. You can go to their website and look around for any of their chargers. Now, most public chargers are either a level 2 or this would be a level 3. You'll also hear this called a DC fast charging. Now you'll notice down here there's actually 2 different plugs. This is not for charging 2 different cars at the same time. You can see behind me here, there's 1 space. But what it is it's 2 different connector types. The one on the left here, right there, I call it a CHAdeMO. This is an older one. I understand that it's quite a bit slower. The Nissan Leaf uses it, for example. Take it off. That's what it looks like right there. I think this one is getting out of favor a little bit. That's a lot heavier than you would think. And this one, the other one, is the more popular one now. And most of the modern EVs that you see have got that type of connector. That's a CCS, a combined, I don't know, it's called CCS, but that one's really what you see. Like the Ioniq 5 has it now, most General Motors, BMW uses it as well, so that's going to be your most common one. But there's another type, and that's the Tesla charger, which is only available at Tesla charging stations, surprisingly. All right, so our last level 3 option is the Tesla supercharger. Now you can find huge supercharging areas. This one is actually out here, just in a little shopping center. And the unique thing about Tesla is they were early, they've got a lot of them, really tied in well with their cars, easy to get across the country, tracing the supercharger network. It's pretty cool. This one's close to an interstate, but really just more towards a pretty well-to-do and densely packed area here of my town. But Tesla does have, you can see that there, its own unique terminal for plugging into the car. So this is for Teslas only. I do think that they've got a lot of adapters that allow you to switch between all the different kinds of level 3 charging. So there's a lot of options to find these. Most manufacturers, like I said, you can have an app, you can have it on your actual car itself, route planning, letting you know where chargers are. There's a bunch of different companies that provide this, and prices can vary a little bit. One of the interesting things I read was that fast charging really gets you up to 80% very, very quickly, but after that, it's just as efficient to plug into a level 2 charger and try to fill up that last 20%. But if you're traveling, you need that DC fast charging, and it's a pretty good network, especially if you stay on the main byways. Once you get out and about a little bit more, it can get a little sketchy if you're driving back through the backwoods, in the back roads, and up in the mountains. Also in cities, depending on the size of your city. California, you've got hundreds of options, but as you can see from this map here in Charlotte, well, it's pretty good, but you can see some gaps in the coverage, so it may not be convenient for you to plug in. The last thing I'll say is I'm going to touch on the connectors again, and this is where I think the industry needs to kind of consolidate itself. And that is the type of plugs. For level 1 charging, you can't literally just get an extension cord to plug it in. You have to have a converter to plug it into the car, and most of the cars come with a cord to allow you to do this. Your level 2 charger is going to have a plug that's associated with your car, and then level 3, well, you've got to be aware of what you've got and what station you're going to. If you drive a Tesla, you need a Tesla supercharger. If you've got a CHAdeMO, you need to go to one of those, or you need to have a converter that attaches to the end of each one of these. You've just got to have a little bit more awareness about them. So in conclusion, it's really simple, and that's why this is such a short video. You've only got 3 different choices. It's the outside, in the wild, in the finding a station that you've got to be a little bit more aware of it, and all of the terms start to get really confusing. Again, I think there needs to be some industry consolidation around this. When you've got EVgo, when you've got Electrify America, when you've got Tesla, it adds some friction to the adoption of EVs. I'm not going to stop buying an EV because of confusion around the recharging. But when you're trying to get a new technology adopted, if there's multiple different options, it adds a little bit of friction, a little bit of confusion to the buying public. Tesla tried to address that. You buy a Tesla, this is the way it's going to work, and you use this charger. It's really simple, but as manufacturers have changed and evolved and adapted new technologies, you get this mix of chargers, you get this mix of words that are used to describe them, and it just adds that little bit of friction. I look forward to the industry consolidating its terminology, because when you go to fill up your gas car, you literally just put the pipe in, you don't worry about it. If it's diesel, it doesn't fit. That's all it takes. So I look forward to that, and I want the industry to do this before the government gets involved and tries to start regulating it, and we end up with a charging system that just isn't optimized for its times. Let me know what you think below, guys, and any questions. Thanks for being here.